welcome to the Rainy Tuesdays podcast by friends for friends. I'm Adam here with Ryan and Margot as per usual. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Standard week.
Standard. It's not been a standard week for me. I've been kind of crazy. Last weekend I had my cousin's wedding. So I've working in Des Moines, but I've come back to my hometown in the suburbs of Chicago for like every weekend, which has been kind of crazy driving. But so I had a wedding, and then this weekend I went to the Renaissance Fair, which was a blast.
Fun, yes.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you do at your Renaissance Fair?
So there's a lot of shops, shopping, but they have tons of shows. So there's this like fire whip guy that we always love to see.
Love that.
There's this kind of comedian, sort of. He like doesn't talk, but it's like a comedy show, kind of, because they like bring up audience members and try to get them to do things without saying anything, and people are dumb, so it's very funny.
Right.
There's like an acrobatics balancing thing that we always see, and then there's a pretty cool show where this lady has trained these rats and cats to do tricks.
Oh, wow.
And the cats are always impressive because, cats. So
they're smart. Yeah.
I think they're smart, but they also just don't want to do anything. So it's always crazy when they do anything, because it'll be like, my girlfriend has a cat, and that cat would not do a single thing that these cats were doing. But then even as you're like watching the cats clearly are like, I guess I'll do this thing. And she constantly has to bribe them with food because they're like, I don't really feel like it.
That's the thing, though, is I've never met a cat that wasn't food oriented. Like, if you offer them food, they'll do just about anything. They're very food driven.
My girlfriend's cat is not food driven at
Really?
all. Like, literally last night we were or maybe 2 nights. Well, it doesn't matter. We were trying to give her a treat, and she was like, I don't want it, and left. Like, because we had seen the show, and we were like, oh, what if we could get her to like not do it crazy things, but to like just like jump up on a chair. That was the sole thing we wanted her to do. And she jumped up, sniffed the treat, and then left. It's like, you don't even want the treat?
Well, so sometimes my cat will do that too, where he's very, very food driven, but he's also like a very dainty eater. So like sometimes he'll like do whatever the trick is I want him to do. Like I've taught him like how to jump up on things, taught him how to sit, I've taught him how to like weep through my legs, and then I've taught him how to like stand up and like lean on my legs kind of thing. And it's like he'll do all of it, but then sometimes he just won't take the treat for it. He just wants to know that he could take the treat, basically. Because sometimes he'll like put it in his mouth and then like spit it back into my hand and be like, no, thank you. And I'm like, that's really gross. Bye-bye. But yeah. Like he'll also only eat on the floor. Like so if I like make him jump up on something and I give him a treat there, he'll like hold it in his mouth and jump down onto the floor to eat it. Because cats are weird. I don't know.
I know animals, they use the floor almost like we would like a plate. It's like a bracing thing I know my dog does that at least. Like he'll like move things to certain areas of the house so he can like use it to hold it down. Like if we give him dishes to lick or something, he'll like take it to a carpet area so it's not sliding around.
Smart. That's cute. Yeah. Fair. I don't know. Good stuff. Yeah. Go on.
I think it's just sort of similar to humans. Like, you ever been hanging out with friends and they're like, oh, we're going to hang out this night. And you're sort of like, maybe. But then they're like, oh, we're going to hang out and get food. It's like, oh, I'm there.
Like, yeah, I want food. Or like, it's always funny to me in like high school and college, if like professors would ever bribe students with candy, that there are some students that will just go crazy for like a Jolly Rancher. Like they'll do anything they can possibly do
Jolly Ranchers are pretty good though.
And it's like, is it worth it though? No. But like,
I mean,
some people
for a
go
Jolly Rancher.
Oh my god.
I like Jolly Ranchers a lot.
It's very funny. Yeah. Who doesn't?
Best flavor, blue raspberry.
No.
It's true.
No
Second
follow-up,
second
just
best
no.
flavor, watermelon.
I like watermelon and I like green apple.
Interesting.
I hate blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry is so good. It's endlessly hilarious to me that blue raspberry is like a staple flavor of most things, and it's completely fake,
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
not based on anything at all. But it's delicious. It's so good.
No. But fair enough.
Is there a grape Jolly Rancher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably gonna be my least favorite.
It's my
I don't
least
like.
it's my least favorite, but it's not bad. Like
Okay.
even like if I'll get
Yeah,
like a
I agree
bag of
with
Jolly
that.
Ranchers and I'll be like, "Oh, the grape." I won't it's not my first choice, but I definitely
Mhm.
will eat them and be like, "Pretty good." Which is not
Right.
common for grape flavored things.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't like grape flavored things, but like if I'm at a party and you know how like sometimes there's like fancy trays of like vegetables and stuff, like and there's grapes, I will eat
Good
all of
lord.
those. But
Yeah.
like anything grape flavored, I can't do.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It's very similar to like the banana flavoring thing. Like bananas versus banana flavoring is wildly different. And I don't know
It's
why,
because
but sometimes it's
there was the
Hmm.
banana apocalypse.
Okay.
There's
Care to
two.
elaborate?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get this wrong. I'm no expert. Um,
You're a
but
history major.
I'm pretty sure to have tons of clarifications in case I'm wrong. So there was like a very common strain of bananas, and
Mhm.
something happened, and they got completely wiped out. And that old strain of bananas is what all banana tasting things are based on. But the bananas you get at
Mm.
the store are a different strain that wasn't like the dominant one at the time,
So
and
we
that's why
like
they taste
upgraded.
different.
Yeah.
Not upgraded; they're just different.
We
But so
upgraded.
when you
Banana
taste something
flavoring
banana
is good.
flavored, that's allegedly what bananas used to taste like. But then there was
Hmm.
the banana apocalypse, and so the only
I kind
survivors
of
don't taste like that.
I kind of absolutely adore the idea of like foods being what they used to be, like having
Mhm.
like flavorings of like this is what it tasted like in like medieval times or like stuff like that. Like that's cool. I don't
Or
know.
just tiny fruits.
Tiny fruits. Oh my god. You know when like they're always in like cafeterias, whether it be like school or like hospital kind of things, but like those tiny little apples. Like they never have like a regular apple for
Mhm.
like lunches and everything. They always have those like really, really, really tiny ones. And there's just something so cute about that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. All right. um, you had rants, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan has
I had
a topic
rants.
for us.
Yeah, you had
Oh
topics.
yeah. So one thing I've noticed in this past week is like small like controversies come up.
Mhm.
And the way you can be upset about these controversies is you sort of have to like turn your brain off a bit and just not think things through and then just get like really upset about something. And one of the first things I saw, this was mainly on Twitter, so not entirely representative of everyone, but
Right. Though
um
is
It's always Twitter.
representative of the worst of everyone. Like,
Somehow Twitter is
exactly.
just the worst. I don't.
yeah.
The more I hear about Twitter, the happier I am that I don't have it.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
It just
But it's
seems
also sort
like
of
a
fun to
cesspool.
watch.
I
Hmm.
keep thinking maybe I should tweet, and then Ryan tells me about what's on Twitter, and I'm like, maybe not. Anyway, so
Oh, the controversy for this one is Lego released a set called Boba Fett's ship.
okay.
And according to Star Wars lore, the name of the ship is Slave One. Now,
Right.
there's no like official name for it. It just
Yeah.
became a name that stuck.
Mhm.
And people are like, "Oh, Disney's trying to get rid of Slave One because it says slave in there," which I guess like maybe is true. But
Mhm.
like the set is called Boba Fett's ship. But if you look at like all the other ships, it's like Luke's X-wing is literally called Luke's Starship. Um,
Sure, like
all
that's
the
just their
other
naming
ships,
convention.
Stupid.
exactly. It's like they don't have like an
As
official name. It's just like, oh, it's this person's ship.
Hmm.
Like one of
but
the Millennium Falcons is called Lando's ship for the Solo. So
sure.
like it's one of those things of it wasn't like them trying to erase someone. It was just like this
Uh,
is just how they name it for marketing
Hmm.
because it's like, ooh, people
yeah.
know this character.
Right, like, there's levels of fans, and it's like,
Hmm.
if you're looking for, like, the general Star Wars fan base, then you need to have, like, this is this person's ship for everything, I think, except for the Millennium Falcon, like, I think
Hmm.
that's the only one that people might be able to just recognize,
Yeah, I was
but,
gonna say I
like
think Millennium Falcon is the only one that has a name that is mentioned at
Yeah.
least. I know
sure,
fans have
yeah,
named
within it,
ships, but I think Millennium Falcon
yeah.
is the only one that has a name.
So, like, I used to work in a board game shop, right? And we had the game X-Wing, which terrible game. There's very few good Star Wars games, and by good I mean like by very few I mean there's only one, and it's Imperial Assault. Every other Star Wars game is kind of garbage. X-Wing is very much included in that. Like it's so dumb, but a lot of people love it, mostly as like a collectible kind of thing because they have all the different ships. And it's like if we had like a Lego set of like, hey, this is Lando's ship, right? Versus like Millennium Falcon. Obviously, this is a bad example, but I just don't want to like try to remember all the names.
Hmm.
But it's like if you have like this specific like name of it, that like really, really, really big Star Wars nerds like would know, they'd be like, that was in that one episode of Clone Wars for half a second. It's like, okay, like that's only gonna sell to those people. Like everyone else is just gonna be like, do I want that or do I want this like big ship that people care about? Especially if you're
Yeah,
like parents who don't care as much buying it for their kids, like
and
they're
who
not
don't
gonna
know
be like,
anything. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
if a parent is going to be like, Slave One, what's that? But their kid probably talked about Boba Fett, the character, because
Yeah.
right.
characters are what you care about. So they'll be like,
Hmm.
oh, I know that. I'll get my
Yeah.
kid this thing.
Oh, look, it's ship AT-05. I'm gonna get that for my
Right.
kid.
Sure,
And
he'll be
that's like
hyped
this
about the
biggest thing.
the numerical designation of this vessel.
Hmm.
There would be people who would like be so excited when we'd get like certain ships in, and they would come up and they'd be like, this is the ship that like Luke rode in this one comic book one time, and it's like, oh my god, isn't that crazy? And it's like, it's a ship. Eh, I don't know.
Cool designs though. I like
Like,
looking at spaceship designs.
yeah,
Hmm.
they're
Some cool
super
ones.
cool. But it's like, yeah, it is just like the level of fan base kind of thing. Because it's like, I love Star Wars. Like, I just adore it. I really do. But I will never care about it enough to be like, this ship was like first seen here. And like, like it's just,
Hmm.
there's levels. So people shouldn't be upset about like them trying to sell them
Exactly.
based
Especially
on those levels.
when it doesn't even have its own name. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
Slave One is not even the official name for the ship, then
Yeah.
what else are they even gonna call it?
Exactly.
They'll be like,
Boba Fett's
the
ship.
fan base kind of just called it this. Are we gonna
Right.
name this Lego set that people probably is not even going to be marketed to you guys?
Hmm. And
Exactly.
it's like, you can still call it a slave one.
Hmm.
Like, you can make a little display thing after you build it and be like,
Yeah.
this is my slave one. Go for it. No one cares.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Exactly. And it's like no one looked at like why is it called this? They're like,
All
ah,
right.
I know why. I gotta jump to conclusions. It's like, no,
Right.
you don't. You just gotta think about it.
Yeah. Oh, God. People are a lot. What was the other one you saw?
The other one I saw, you may have heard of this one, Margot. The like Addison Rae being a commentator for the UFC fight.
Did see about that one.
I
Yeah.
don't know. The way I
That's
thought of it, I
hilarious.
don't know anything about Addison Rae. For people that don't know, she's a popular TikTok person. I didn't really even know that till like a week ago.
Yeah.
Um, and she like posted something of like, "Oh, I'm commentating the UFC fight, and I only went to journalism school for 3 months." And people were
Hmm.
very upset by that comment. And I was like, "That's sort of like a funny joke." And then
Right.
people are like, "Why is she doing it? She doesn't have any experience," which is like, yeah,
Sure.
that's true, but also
She's a
like
celebrity.
But
she's a
yeah,
celebrity.
people get
Like,
celebrities to
Yeah.
commentate stuff all the time. Like
yeah.
look at
Yeah.
any game show hosts that are almost all celebrities. Like the Voice, I think, is like
Hmm.
literally just
Hmm.
celebrities. Like it, it's not about whether you're a professional at this. It's whether you're a name
Exactly.
recognition thing.
Hmm. Like Snoop Dogg like commentated one of the UFC fights not that long ago, and he
Hmm.
doesn't know like all that much about fighting. And it's like,
I
no one's gonna be upset about
mm.
that he didn't go to journalism school.
My favorite meme though going around is just pictures of Snoop Dogg's doing random jobs, being like he's
Mhm.
just doing side quests at this point. Like,
Trying to get that
Completed
experience.
the main story, and he's
yeah,
just.
Mhm.
exactly. Um, but like the thing with Addison Rae, it's just so stupid because it's like if you can have a celebrity or you can have like someone who nobody knows, you're gonna do the celebrity. Like that's
Yeah,
just that's marketing 101. And as a
that's the
journalism
thing.
major, you should know that.
Mhm.
But like it is also like, do I understand that like the tweet she made is a little like tone deaf? Sure. Like is it totally fair to point out like, haha, I'm rich and famous and no one else is? Like, okay, sure, like go for it, point it out. But like, I mean, I get why people were like, that's insensitive, but I don't get why people were like, it should be me. Because no, it
Yeah.
shouldn't. You're not famous. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing,
yeah,
like, celebrities get to cut ahead of the line all the time.
yeah,
Is it right?
yeah.
No, but, like, it's not a new thing. This has been around for a while, and people are like, "Wow, this is, like, unheard of. This is the first
Yeah.
time this has ever happened." It's like, "No,
That
it's
happens
not."
literally all the time. Yeah. It's so stupid.
I will say it's a very weird decision to have Addison Rae be your commentator on UFC. Like, I cannot
Mhm.
imagine there's much of an overlap between people who watch UFC fights and people who watch this teenage girl on TikTok. Oh,
Yeah.
I
at least I hope not. The
I
internet can
think
be quite bad, so maybe there's these middle-aged men that are lusting after this teenage girl, and I'm sure there is. But it
yeah,
just seems like
I
an
think
odd,
it's
like, I know a lot of her fans are also teenagers. Like, that's like same with Charlie D'Amelio.
sure.
Like, it's kind of like a younger audience, and um, I don't know very many people and were in college, so it's not even older, and I don't know that many people who like watching UFC and like wrestling and stuff.
Mhm.
So I cannot
That's a
imagine there's
crowd
much of an
thing.
overlap.
Yeah.
It's just an
I
odd choice there.
Yeah, that's a crowd thing because I have a lot of friends that like UFC, and like all
But
that kind of
but you do
stuff.
jujitsu.
I do jujitsu, and so like it's definitely like, it just kind of depends on the group. But I think that it is just like she's a hot girl, like she's attractive, she's conventionally so very attractive, like no one is denying that. And so it's
Mhm.
like if you can have a hot girl and she's famous, and like you're right, she probably doesn't have like her audience, and like UFC audience is a Venn diagram. Like some of her people don't know what UFC, and UFC people don't necessarily know her. And so it's like, does that mean though that they might get new viewers?
Yeah, actually, it might
Because
be a really
like,
smart marketing thing
Mhm.
because people who are
yeah,
fans of UFC are going to watch it regardless of who's commenting. That doesn't matter to them.
exactly.
But maybe they can
Hmm.
get new people by getting this untapped market of people who are like, oh, I like Addison Rae. Maybe I'll go watch this thing that she's commentating.
Absolutely. And so it's just like it's a completely smart business move that no one
Mhm.
should hold issue with. Was her tweet insensitive? Yeah, but was it right? Also, yeah. Like she didn't lie in it.
Mhm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, is it something that you should necessarily point out? Like, no. It's the kind of thing where it's like celebrities in quarantine being like, this is just so hard for me, you guys. Like, this is so difficult for me. And it's like, okay.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's definitely not the issue people made it out to be.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you also saw, but she got fired because of that.
I don't know if
Really?
you saw the follow up from that from the UFC, but like the UFC was like she was only hired for a one-time gig. So like her "y'all got me fired" LOL tweet was like not it, like it was like a joke apparently, because like the UFC didn't have a full-time contract with her. Like it was meant to be this one night thing. And so
Yeah.
it's like she wasn't fired from it. It was just
Okay.
Oh, so she was just
like
joking.
yeah,
Gotcha.
like
I saw that bit, but then like
yeah,
I don't know, I also saw like she was gonna do just that event, so but
right.
then she
Yeah,
wasn't like for the later part of the event. She was in like the early morning stuff. So
right. People are a lot.
exactly. And it's like it's really not that big a deal. Like for what she was in, she was just in the pre-show stuff. And it's like
Yeah,
that's not a big deal. If you're the
no.
journalism major, do you really want to do the pre-show commentating?
And it's like, I'm sure, they do and everything, but it's also just like, I, at some point, you know, you're always going to be replaced by like celebrities. Like the Voice was a great example. There's tons of like talk shows where it's celebrities instead of just like regular people that started as
Mhm.
talk show hosts.
Mhm.
Like it's just silly to me that people are like, no, like we don't want to see a celebrity because like yes you do.
Mhm.
Like of course you do. If you consume any media at all, you enjoy celebrities. If you understand like the notion of being like I want to go to this person's live show because like oh my god they're doing a live show, then you understand why this is a thing. It's so silly. Ugh,
Yeah.
my god. Like if you could have like your like friend from college giving your wedding toast or like John Mulaney, you're gonna choose John Mulaney. Like, 'cause, like that's gonna be the way funnier toast. Like, I don't know. People are silly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is a complete subset, but BuzzFeed
go
Unsolved,
for it.
during their final season of True Crime, they just released an
Yes,
episode about Princess Diana's
very good episode.
death. Pretty good. I was disappointed that they didn't have a theory suspect. John Mulaney. What was he doing? He says he was here, but was he really?
He was a 12-year-old in the Midwest.
but was he really?
But was he?
Mhm.
That's funny. Oh my god. I'm like really, really I'm gonna go on a little tangent about BuzzFeed Unsolved and this being their final season.
Mhm.
I'm really happy for them. Like they're doing it so well and they're doing it with like such like care for their fans. Like they're making like all of the references that they've made over the years, like they're bringing them into this season and everything.
Mhm.
Like they're really really trying to be like, hey guys, thank you. Like they're very sweet. And it's cute. I like it. It's a good time. um
It's a shame it's
yeah.
gonna be over. It is probably my
Mhm.
favorite like true crime supernatural show, but can't make it forever. So it's fine.
No.
Yeah.
And people should watch it. It's so good. Like they have a ton of good shows over there. Dish Granted, which isn't either of their shows, but it's Stephen Lim's show. Is they have their first full season airing right now. And it's very very good. It's very sweet. Um, it's a good time. I like that Ryan's shows are all creepy. Shane's are all like super silly and like out of whack. And then like Stephen Lim's are all just like the most comforting like little blanket
Mhm.
that you could have. And it's a good time. It's a good trio.
Yeah. I watched yesterday. I binged all the unsolved ones just because I've been so busy,
It's
and it's pretty
exciting.
good.
Yeah. Very
Which
good.
is funny you mentioned that, and like the inside jokes, like the jokes from the start of the season keep coming up through the episodes, which is really funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's good
It's a good
stuff.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, love that.
I'll
I'm
throw.
excited.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm excited for the last Supernatural
Oh
season too,
yes, me too.
because
Mhm.
that's also very fun.
Been
Yeah,
missing that because they did one true crime season over COVID, but
quarantine.
they haven't been
Yeah,
able to do supernatural obviously because they have to like visit locations.
Yeah.
But so I'm
right.
excited for that again.
Hmm.
There was always good. I obviously you guys are more skeptical about Ghost than I am, but I'm still pretty skeptical. But I much prefer their style of ghost show where it's really not about the ghosts because it's just them doing whatever.
Mhm.
And
It's a buddy cop show.
yeah, and that's I think the best kind of ghost stuff because like if you're not
Yeah.
actively really trying to get ghosts and you're what's entertaining about a ghost show is that you are entertaining and funny, then
Hmm.
anything extra
It's a
that
good show.
happens is just kind of interesting and you're like, oh, what
Yeah,
was that? That's weird. But you don't need supernatural stuff to be fun, which is other
absolutely.
like ghost hunters or whatever it was. It's much
Mhm.
different. And you're like, oh, well, maybe they're faking it because that's the whole point of the show. But
Right.
when that's not the point of the show, you know they're not faking it. So if something weird happens,
They're
it's like, oh, that is
laughing.
weird.
Yeah, and they're laughing at like the spirit box saying apple taters. Like it's beauty.
And if someplace
But
like just straight nothing happens ever, they're just
Right.
roasting
I
it for
love
being
that.
not haunted.
Yeah, Shane is like teasing it and Ryan is still scared somehow. It's beautiful.
It's pretty fun.
I It's very funny because like I'm not like afraid of ghosts
Hmm.
in the slightest or like demons or any of that. Like I've never believed in that kind of thing and I doubt I ever will. But like um it's I'm also just like afraid of everything in media. Like I don't know why, but media is just like easy to scare me with. And so like I do really, really appreciate that they have like such a fun dynamic because I'm never scared watching their stuff. Like they
Hmm.
have like the true crime stuff, which is scarier to me than their supernatural stuff because it's like actually happened. Um, but like that stuff, like they still have such a good like energy that I'm not like afraid of any of the stuff that they're talking about. It's like here's this gruesome murder that happened and we're going to talk about it in detail, but it's like we're also making jokes, so it's fun. Um and then like the supernatural stuff, I'm never afraid of that. And then the like they have a show on Watcher called Are You Scared? And like that one's arguably like the creepiest thing, and they also have like a bunch of like drawings in it that are meant to be creepy and all. But it's like it's still easy to consume because of how many jokes they make, and that's very appreciated for someone who's afraid of everything. So yeah, I don't know. I like so I was thinking about this. Like every time they mention that they're gonna have like a supernatural season, how would you guys be like on a ghost hunt?
I think I'd be pretty scared. I mean, I believe in ghosts at least a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but there's just something genuinely creepy about going around like some kind of slightly abandoned place, and
Sure.
it's dark, and my
Hmm.
imagination kind of runs wild with that kind of stuff. So it's gonna fill in things that aren't there anyways, and I know they're not there, but it'll freak me out regardless. So
Right. Yeah.
I would
How about you,
not be
Ryan?
having a good time.
I think
Yeah.
it depends where the place is. Like if it's a house, I'll be fine. But if it's like the
Okay.
asylum that they visited, I
Uh-huh.
don't know that I do that well. That's also one of my favorite episodes.
The
Yeah.
Waverly,
I
right?
think so.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. Hmm.
They throw a ball around to like talk
Yes.
to a kid.
Also, one of the few things that like it sounds like it bounces again
Hmm.
when they throw. It's like one of those few like they don't have a lot of times where it's like that could have been something, and that's one of the episodes where that could have been something.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I think so. You
I
guys
don't-
feel free to disagree, but
I think it's hilarious. Because that's the same one where the ball lands under Ryan,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
like under the name Ryan. But then like it's also like Shane points out, he's like, it also says 420 or like whatever. It's like you're like smoking 2 meters. It's like something about weed.
yeah.
But like it's so funny. Um, but I don't know. I think I'd be more afraid of like a murderer like than I would be a
Yeah.
ghost.
Yeah.
Like I'd be much more afraid of just like someone that was like in the house that would kill me than like a demon sneaking up and killing me.
It is like almost for all ghost stories you hear. At most, the
Yes.
ghost is just kind of annoying, and you're like, this kind
Yeah.
of stinks, but he's never, or it, or whatever, it's not going to like
Yeah.
kill you, but humans
Yeah.
will. And so humans
Humans
are so much
absolutely
scarier
will.
than anything supernatural that could happen.
Yeah, humans are crazy and disturbing and gross, and I don't want any part of it. I reject my
Like the
humanity.
craziest thing you could think of for
Um,
like supernatural, like horror movies, everything, just real people have done that.
yeah, like I'm sorry, but like I don't know, maybe I'm not knowledgeable enough on like ghost stuff. But like the from what I've heard, I think the like scariest things is when like they like claw your skin or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
there's
if like a demon
like
like leaves the three
scratches.
marks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's
that's
like
not
minimal of
bad.
what a human would do to you. Like just a little scratch from a human is like I'm okay. Like it's like, and so it's just silly to me. But I think that so long as I had people with me, then I wouldn't be afraid. Like if
Oh,
it
For
yeah.
was
sure. If
just
you,
me, I'd be terrified of a murderer. But like if like the three of us went on a ghost hunt, I don't think I'd be afraid. Like I think I'd
yeah,
be fine.
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think I'm
Yeah.
going ghost hunting by myself.
No. No. Bad
never.
feeling.
There's like in those shows, like Busting Unsolved, where they're like, all right, now you have to be isolated in this dark and scary place for like 10 minutes. It's like I would die. That's horrible. I hate that. But it's
I
just
think I
like the
could do
three
the
of us
ones where
wandering
it's
around.
like, yeah, I think I could do the ones where it's like a closed room where like you guys would be right outside of the room, but I couldn't do the one where it's like that they did with that like castle place where it was like you just go in the castle alone and then everyone
Yeah,
else will
it's like
stand
just you.
outside.
We'll
Like
we'll leave. Bye. Like
there's a murder in here for sure. Like no thank you.
there's this other
Oh
ghost
my God.
show that I like. It's Achievement Hunter by the Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter guys, and
Hmm.
they do one. It's a kind of similar concept where they're just kind of having fun in these haunted locations, and occasionally something spooky might happen, but more likely than not, it won't. And
Right.
but they'll do like isolating things. So they did one where they tied this one guy to a bed and then literally left, like left the whole location, packed up and went somewhere else because it was like this whole area, and then left him there for like an hour. It was like that's my
Dang.
nightmare.
The way that
Horrifying.
I would never talk to someone again if they did that to me, like, no. You're not gonna leave. Like, oh my
It
God.
was like all part of the bit because then one of they like came back after a while and tried to scare him. But
I feel like I would just go insane myself, like being tied to a bed in the dark for like however long. No. Like that's
I
that's a
I
no
would be
for me.
talking to myself as soon as they left though, just
Yeah,
to have something.
absolutely.
Not that I talk to myself constantly, but even more so, I just be like run a conversation for an hour because I'll scare off the ghosts.
I always like maybe this is like something I shouldn't admit, but you also just admitted it, so I don't feel bad about it. But like I talk to myself all the time. Like if I'm
Constantly.
alone, I don't like it if it's like too quiet. Like I
Yeah.
will absolutely be like, "Oh, time to do this." Like it's never like, "How are you feeling, Margot?" I'm feeling good. Like
No,
it's never
yeah.
that.
It's just
It's
like
just like
it's me like
Saying what
vocalizing all
I'm
my
doing.
thoughts.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like,
it's
and
like
I think better
narrating
when
what
I'm
I'm
talking anyway.
doing.
So it's just like
Yeah,
every time if I'm thinking something, I'm just gonna say it out loud if I'm by myself. Yeah, I'm not. It's not like a
absolutely.
running conversation.
No,
That's
yeah. Oh
maybe
man.
concerning, but yeah. But
But
I
I
it's actually especially with quarantine, it's become like a problem where because I literally do it so much, I'll like be out in public and then I'll like be slightly away from someone and I'll like say something on my breath. I'll be like, no, you can't do
you
that.
can't
There's
do that.
people around. You're not just locked in your apartment for a year.
Oh, that's so funny. I don't know. I definitely talk to myself enough, but then like sometimes I've also noticed that like if I'm home alone for like a whole day, like I'll talk to myself, sure, but then sometimes if I'm watching something and I just don't talk, at some point like in the afternoon I'll be like, whoa, like my throat's like I didn't talk at all today.
Oh.
Like it's
Mhm.
like it feels weird.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I don't know. There's always like an adjustment period you have to do when you wake up anyway. Like I don't know about you guys, but I refuse to talk when I first wake up. Like if someone wakes me up, I have to like grunt at them. Like yeah, I'm like thing, because I can't like form words in my throat. Like it just won't happen.
I mean, I can talk, but it is like your throat's like I don't know,
Yeah,
not
it's so
used to
dry.
it, I guess. So
Like
it's
Yeah.
like
yeah,
not what you really want to do, I suppose.
right. Yeah, like I need a little bit of time and like some water, and then we'll be good.
Mhm. Do you ever have that thought of like, well, you guys have lived by yourselves before, but like
Mm.
you'll wake up and then you'll do something and then like your first like words of that day. You ever think about like that? Because
Yes.
like I would like get up in the morning, get a shower, maybe like go to class like online and then go to like lunch and then I'd talk to someone and be like, wow, I've been up for like
Oh
4 hours.
yeah.
I've not said anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely
I think
happened.
about that all the time. Yeah, whole world.
Mhm.
There was a little period whenever I had like my single at college, and it was like I had to start the day with like a playlist. Like I had to just like listen to music or something just to like feel more like involved in like the world, because it wasn't like I could like say hi to my roommate or like do anything like that. And like especially because that was a semester that I had um I did this I successfully managed for like 4 out of my 6 semesters to mostly have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then like at most have one class on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. And like that was beauty. There was one semester that I did it perfectly where I had mostly Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then only a Monday, Wednesday. So I didn't
Oh.
have a Friday class at all. And it was just like gorgeous. But like I love being able to like pile all of my work into certain days and then have like days off in between to be like I can like focus on reading or like this or that or whatever. Like it's so nice. And that doesn't work for everyone and I get that. But it like that is peak like mental health for me, is to be able to like space out my work like that, to like front load and then take care of it and front load and then take care of it. Um but anyway, I like on those like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, like I would not leave my room until like lunchtime when people were like out of classes and could like hang out. And I wouldn't be like going into a class and like participating or anything. So it was like I was just very, very like isolated until then. And so I definitely like had a playlist and like would watch shows or something and like absolutely would like narrate whatever I was doing and everything to be like, yeah, I need to like involve myself to some level so that I'm not just like not doing anything.
Mhm.
But yeah, a time. Oh, I have a friend who it's her first semester of college in the fall. And she is like, she sent me her schedule and she was like, I feel like it's really bad. And it's like, I don't think it is at all. Like, because it's like, she was just like, she thought the times were weird. And I think that everyone thinks that like when they first get it, like when they first move from high school to college. And sometimes it absolutely is bad, but like sometimes it's right for you. And so like with her, it was like she did have like they were either 8 a.m.s or like 8:30s. Um, and then her classes were like made in a certain way that it was like uh she didn't have too many on one day, and then she also like on Fridays could go home early for the weekend if she wanted to. And I was like, this is perfect for like all these reasons, because also they uh she like wakes up early all the time. Like she's like Adam, like she loves waking up early. And so it was like a time and I was like, this is great for you. Like this is awesome. And she was like, oh, I guess it is. Yeah, no, that does work out. And it's like, I don't know. I think it's just silly like how people like need such different schedules. But it's a good time because that would never work for me. Like I would hate a schedule like that. But
I saw this piece of advice, and it won't be applicable to anyone that listens to this podcast because I think we're slightly past this stage. But to when you make your first schedule for college classes for that very first semester, you'll think I can do an 8 a.m. I've been waking up at 7:30 or whatever for high school for forever, as long as I've ever lived, and be like, what's an 8 a.m.? That's even better. And that's a lie. Somehow 8 a.m.s are ridiculously hard. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're just doing more because you have more freedom, and so like you need more sleep, and then people don't get it, and then they have an 8 a.m. and then they can't operate. And
Like
it's like that's totally fair.
I had one 8 a.m. my very first semester. Like my latest
Uh-huh.
class was 9:50, and then one day a week I had an 8 a.m. class.
Uh-huh.
It was like a seminar thing for only an hour, and somehow it was so bad waking up at like slightly earlier, and I wake up early every day, and then for
You do
whatever
wake up
reason,
Mhm.
like it was just really hard. And I
It's
never
very
slept
funny.
in. I never was like, oh, I'm not going to do this, but it was just weirdly hard. And I woke up at like 5:50 or something every day for school for
Yeah.
like 7 years. So I don't know how that happened, but somehow you just
Yeah.
get to college and then it becomes impossible to do.
Turns off.
So good luck to your friend having a bunch of 8 a.m.s. It's
I
challenging.
think she'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think 3 days a week that she has them, and I like she genuinely wakes up early like all the time, and she goes to bed early too. Like on a very good sleep schedule, even during summers. So it's like I feel like it'll be fine for her. But it's like I know that I also have like 8:30s for law school, and I'm gonna die and not do well for that. Not looking forward to it, but it'll be fine. It'll be great. Maybe I'll sleep more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you should fix your sleep
But,
schedule.
Yeah.
that's a
I
concept.
think you might need
But
to.
Yeah.
You might just, your body might shut down one day because you don't have sleep.
nah,
Mhm.
could never.
I think that most people's like freshman year of college schedules are really bad. Margo, you might have a different opinion on this, but my schedule is really bad because I was like, ooh, I like to sleep in. My first class will be at 11,
Mhm.
which was a chemistry class. And that was all right. Like I enjoyed sleeping in, but like I also feel like should have taken an earlier class then have more stuff like to be able to do in the day. But then also all my other classes, I put like an hour break in between,
Mhm.
which was not the move
No, because then what
because
do you do?
Yeah.
exactly you go back and you like sit there for 30 minutes and it's like, well, I gotta go to class. Can't really
Mhm.
start on homework.
Yeah.
Guess I'll just
Yeah.
watch YouTube for a
That's the
little bit.
worst part where you have like, oh, I have an hour, but that's
Mhm.
really not enough time to do anything because that hour is
No.
half of that hour is walking there and back. It's like, well,
Right.
what am I gonna do? And you can't even like really hang out with people because that requires all of you to have the exact same schedule as you.
Mhm.
Right.
It's just not good.
My first semester was fine. I had 9 a.m.s every day, and then I was mostly done early, except for one class that I had on a Tuesday. That was like like 3 to 7 one. And it's like I don't know. That was it worked out for me because it just kind of showed me like what types of classes I liked and what types I didn't. Um, and I really, really like loading all of my classes into 2 days if possible. It just, that's, it's such a good thing. I think everyone should try it. I know it's not for everyone, and I'm not trying to imply that everyone like would love it, but I think that a lot more people would love it than they think they would.
The only time I had a schedule like that was when I had my internship, and so my internship was
Uh-huh.
the other 3 days. But I don't
Right.
think I could do that otherwise. Like it would feel
Really?
so bizarre to me to be doing school for 2 days versus every day.
Well,
Like
like when you
I'm
think
just not
about it,
even
you're still,
just be
I would
I don't
still
know. I'd get like
do
out of the
it.
mindset, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't read at all on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Like, I wouldn't do any homework on those days, unless it was like I had a paper coming up kind of thing that I needed to work on,
Mhm.
like every day kind of thing. But I would just like make Mondays and Wednesdays I'll wake up and I will just read for like hours, and then I'll go to lunch, and then I'll come back and I'll read some more. And it's like, because that's like all the homework I would ever have. And so it's just, it worked out. It was nice. And I think that like because of still needing to read, like I think if it was like, I don't, I don't know if there's a major that like you don't have to do busy work or read. Uh, I maybe business.
I didn't always have to read for
But-
history.
no, there you go too. Yeah, like if
Like
it's
you should,
like
but it was always like it's helpful to read, but it's
Mhm.
not
right.
necessary per se.
Yeah, like for most of my classes, it was like there were definitely some that I could like skirt with either like skimming or just not reading at all. But like those ones you typically knew ahead of time. And so like I just didn't get the book if I didn't have to. Um, but like there were some classes where it was like you need to read it, otherwise you're just like gonna be lost. And that was I'd say probably 80%. And I'd say like the other 20% was filled with like the maybe you can, maybe you can't, maybe you like only have to read certain chapters, like things like that. And it's just like, I don't know. I think if I didn't have to read, then I probably wouldn't like that schedule as much. But with something so uh like homework heavy, I guess,
Hmm.
it works. Yeah. But I love having Fridays like mostly free or like only one class on a
Yeah,
Friday.
that's
Like
nice.
that's
Mhm.
gorgeous. Yeah. Like my weekend just starts and I'm just like, ooh.
3-day
Yeah.
It
weekend.
was great. For my first semester of law school, we had a class that didn't run the whole time, so it was a Thursday Friday class, and
Hmm.
like for the last month of school, it was over. So I had Fridays completely
Oh,
free, and it was
yeah.
very good. I mean, I just spent the day doing homework, anyways,
Yeah.
but it was still like this is cool. I don't have class, fun.
Right. It's like chill. It's
Yeah.
it's funky. It's fun. Um, yeah, it's a good time. I'm Oh, I have a question for you, Ryan, because our school did a thing where for like at least when we went to school for our first years, you were in a different building and then now you're in like a new one.
Yeah.
Um, how was that? Because I'm about to have that. Like my first semester is in one building and then my second semester will be in the new one.
It was all right. The older building was
Hmm.
very much old because it used to be a
Hmm.
dorm and then a dorm that was converted into a class, like classes. I remember sophomore year was the worst of it. Like freshman year, I didn't mind it as much.
Uh-huh.
Sophomore year was the worst of it because the room I was in for like 2 of the classes, it was neat because like there was like windows on like 2 sides of it and it
Hmm.
like sort of like outcropped a bit from the building, so it was like a neat view.
Yeah.
But there was no air conditioning.
Oh
There was
no.
only heat,
Oh.
and the
Ew.
heat wasn't very good. And like
Oh
you
God.
either had heat or no heat. And so like during the summer it was really bad, or like during like when it got warmer it was really bad.
Mhm,
And also during the winter it
Right.
was really bad too because the room wouldn't like stay warm.
mhm.
Hmm.
Um the other thing too was like as the building was like getting ready to be closed, like things would go wrong with the building and they just wouldn't fix them. Like we
Oh,
had bad rain and like a lot of the old building was right next to the new building and like the pipes for the rain on the new building like
yeah.
almost laid like directly in the old buildings. Like sometimes it would flood and like they
I
really wouldn't do
remember
anything
that.
about that. Lights would go off in the
Yeah.
old building and they just wouldn't fix them because what's the point?
I mean, yeah, they were demolishing
Fair.
it, so
I
it's
had
not even like
one class. Yeah. I had one class in that building for whatever reason. It was an English class. I don't know why they had it in the engineering building, but they did.
bizarre.
And so I had one class in that building like the semester before they tore it down. And I remember twice that semester my class got canceled or like moved outside because like the night before it had flooded.
Hmm.
It's a time. Ugh.
Good thing they just demolished it instead of trying to repurpose it into something else. Because
Oh
that seems
yeah.
very common that they repurpose dorms into a different type of building. Like all the administrative buildings are like that,
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
which just sounds bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
It's
I
tough.
better to make use of a building than knock down an old one, I suppose. But
Sure thing. Yeah. I mean, how much can you do with like the rubble of a building though? Like, I feel like there's stuff you could do, or is it just like landfill? Am I wrong about that? Because I could be wrong
I
about
think
that,
you can
and I'm not.
repurpose
It
a lot of
depends.
it. I know steel is completely recyclable, so all
Okay, cool.
that, if there's steel in the building, all that can be used
Right.
again. But I don't know when they just knock apart like concrete because it's like a concrete building, so I have no idea if that's just rubble.
Yeah. Fair. I don't
It
know.
depends usually. Yeah, you're pretty much right about that. They can repurpose the steel sometimes. But a
Hmm.
lot of other stuff they just throw in a landfill usually.
Makes sense. But yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think uh, it's a fun time whenever that happens. Like at the very least, it adds excitement to the campus. I
Yeah.
remember I remember when like they had that giant beam for everyone to sign.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That was cool. Um, leave a little mark.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That new building is very nice.
It's very pretty. I only went in it maybe like 3 times.
I actually never went in it.
Wow.
Such a shame.
I
They
know
had a great
We
all
also
staircase.
my
went in the old building like once
I
in
know.
order
I
to
was gonna
sign
say
in.
that too. That they before they demolished the old building, they had like a day to come in and sign the wall, and that was the only time I ever went to that building was to sign it. And that's what I wrote on my signature. I was like, first and last time stepping foot here.
Ah, iconic. Fair. Um, yeah, the new building was really pretty. I don't understand how it all like isn't sweltering hot in there all the time, just
Yeah,
because
so
I feel
full of
like the windows
windows.
would make it like warm. It's not though, so that's cool. And then the stairs are a lot,
They
and the
are.
elevators are huge. Um,
There's a
and
lot of
that's my
elevators
building
too.
review.
Tune in next time to see if I go review a new building.
It's a business and engineering one, so I liked that they had the stocks going. That felt cool. That felt fun. I feel like that really, really did something for business majors. Ugh, man.
hmm
Yeah,
And they had a
but
coffee shop.
alrighty. Yeah, the coffee shop is why I went there most of the time. Because I would like meet up with engineering friends after their classes, and we would get a little coffee together.
hmm
Um, I say most of the time. I think that was 2 out of 3 times. But um, yeah, it's good stuff. It was kind of ridiculous because they added a coffee place there, while it's like directly next to the student center where there's a coffee place.
And across
Um,
the way from another coffee place,
yeah,
probably
and
about
Yeah.
across
200
from the
feet.
library.
They're really like,
Yeah,
where can we
it's
put coffee places? Could we perhaps put it in an area of campus where there are food but no coffee? Or should we put it right next to where everyone gets their coffee already?
it was just so silly. And it's
Like,
like,
why?
okay, I think they should have done a little like sandwich shop. I know that it's also directly next to more sandwich shops, but I just feel like that would have made
Yeah,
more
it would have been
sense.
slightly
Um,
different to be like, oh,
Bring back the
look,
yeah.
it's
pasta
got
place.
something cool. Pasta.
Yes, I love the pasta
Yeah.
place. Oh God. But whole time they goofed. And that's okay. I'm sure they'll
hmm
change it. They change those things all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty, let's talk about what rained on our parades this
Oh,
week.
before we do that,
Oh.
I was trying to slot this in earlier, but I have a recommendation that everyone needs to watch, and I have not seen a lot about it, but it's very good. Netflix released this 3-movie trilogy called Fear Street. You may have heard of it, or not. It's very good. They're horror-esque, more like slasher films. So if that's not your scene, fine. But they're very good. Good story, cool characters. It's like a cool like mystery throughout each movie because
Ooh.
they do like
I like
each movie you're
mystery.
figuring out more and more of what's going on. But each movie is good on its own as well. And I will say, if you watch the first movie, there is one pretty gory scene, but that's it. So if you could just get past that and you know what as is happening, so just close your eyes and you get past that gory scene, and there's nothing else in the show like it. Because my girlfriend and I watched the first movie and we're like, that was rough. And then the next 2 movies are not like that, and they're like slashers, so people are getting killed, but it's not as gory as this one particular scene. But great
I
story, um, representation in it. It's good.
appreciate the gore warning. And then also, is it like Netflix original or is it
Yeah,
like these
yeah.
are old? Okay.
No,
Then
Netflix
follow-up
original.
question, did they just drop all 3 movies at the same time?
They release them weekly. At this point, they're all out, but it was per week.
Oh,
Mm.
crazy. Very cool.
hmm
Yeah.
Very good. It's got
So it's like,
the
I was gonna ask if it was a continuing story.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, they
Yeah.
follow each other story wise. So like
Uh-huh.
they're like the Back to the Future movies where they
Yeah.
Oh
each movie
yeah.
kind of follows each other. It's like that, but they're designed to be followed one after each other because they
Gotcha.
each movie adds more and more to the story that you like learn more and more about what's going on.
Very cool. Yeah.
It's very good.
Fair.
I just haven't seen enough
Um,
about it. People should watch it.
all right. Is Fear Street, you said?
Fear Street.
Fear Street. Watch
Yeah.
Fear Street. Okay. Now let's talk about what rained on our parade. Oh man. I'll start if you guys want.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
Men on Tinder.
You can just say men.
Men.
Men are the worst. Fully
Yeah,
don't understand why. I saw this funny joke that was like, it's obvious that sexuality is not a choice because no one would choose to date men.
no one would. Why would they? I I was ranting about it a little bit to Adam before we started, but I tried out Tinder. I still have it, but I feel like I mean I haven't like been on it for like a while at this point, so I feel like I probably should just delete it. But like it's gross. People are gross on there. Like they're really, really nasty. And it's like I know that that's the reputation, and I should have been like expecting it to some extent, but I like didn't realize it would be like that gross. Like people, like guys had like their dicks out in like their profile pictures, and like I got sent like porn gifs as like first messages like multiple times, and I was just like, that's enough, thank you. And there were some just like explicit messages that I was sent, and it's like that's gross. Oh god, it's just like icky. And it's like
Hmm.
there's like nice people on there, and it's like that's nice for whatever it's worth. But I feel like I'll be messaging them and then like see all these other like really, really disgusting messages, and I just won't want to get on Tinder. And so then I'm not messaging back the like nice people because it's just the whole thing grosses me out. Um and it's a lot. It's not fun. Um Men are gross. That's my rant.
We were talking about this before too, but still endlessly mystified that any guys just send dick pics randomly.
They're
Like,
not cute.
how does this ever work for you? No
Hmm.
one is possibly be like, wow, look at you. Ever. Not happening. Everyone's just like, that's
I
disgusting. I don't want that. And then block you. Like, how is it ever going to go well? But that happens
Yeah.
all the time. Guys do it constantly to like celebrities and everything. Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
I talk about this with like my girlfriends all the time, and we like always joke about the fact that like men will take a dick pic and it'll look like a moth flying like in a weird blurry like gross thing, right? And then like women will take like the most artful nudes and it's like there's lighting, there's poses, there's specific like things picked out for it. There's like a color scheme, like it's like a whole process, right? And you like run it by your friends and everything to be sure. And then like men send like just the weird little like dick pic, and like it's always gross, and it's like never have I known a woman to send like just a click of her vagina, like you know, like it's like that's the equivalent, and that's
Yeah,
weird. Like
Hmm.
yeah,
it's
it's
just
just
it's just
gross.
gross.
Hmm.
Like I'm all for like expressing yourself consensually however you want to, you know. And so it's like if you and your partner want to send nudes to each other, okay, go for it. But like put effort in.
But
Like
particularly when you literally haven't even talked to someone, and your
oh, see,
first
that's different.
opening
That's not
message is a
consensual.
Yeah.
dick. But that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Why? How? What do you think is gonna happen here?
I just immediately unmatch. Like I'm like I don't entertain it. I'm not like, "Oh, thanks for that," or like, "No, thank you," or like I just don't respond, and I just immediately unmatch.
Mhm.
I don't think you can send your own dick pics on Tinder though. Because I don't think you can send pictures. So like the to my understanding, and I am not a Tinder expert and I am not claiming to be, but I know that you can have your profile pictures on there. And so there's been a few times where guys like there's just like a dick pic that pops up and it's like no thank you, and I just swiped no on that and I don't have to deal with it. But then if I like match with a guy who like seems like he's not going to do that, they like the ones that I've gotten are like gifts, like searchable gifts that are just like really graphic sex. And it's like that's gross, and it's not even you. You're like
Hmm.
you're
Yeah,
making me watch
it's just
porn.
odd.
I don't want to. Yeah. So I don't know.
Not a fun time.
Not a fun time. How about you guys?
Kind of a well, I have two, but I'm really just gonna say the one. Um,
Okay.
I've been driving back and forth between Illinois and Iowa uh,
Yes.
a lot.
Mhm.
One thing that's been happening recently that has never happened before, and I've driven this distance between Illinois and Iowa a lot, and especially I did it between our college and home a lot, and that was kind of a long drive. Is as I'm
Mhm.
driving, I'll get bugs that'll hit my windshield in the front of the car. So when I
Oh
get
yeah.
back, I'll just be like covered in bug carcasses across the whole front of my car. And it's disgusting. It's never happened to me before, so I don't know why it's happening now. And luckily, this last time I just got here, it rained in like the last 20 minutes I was here, so it washed it all off. But otherwise, I would have been just covered in bugs. And there was one time I came and like my siblings were like audibly like, "What the heck happened to you?" Because you just massacred all these bugs, and their dead bodies are just coating the front of your car, and it's so gross because they're like splatting and everything.
Yeah.
And,
A few weeks back, that was a problem with like the cicadas. But I haven't had it just with like general bugs.
yeah, it's just I don't think cicadas are out for in the Midwest now, but
Oh, okay.
so it's just like gnats and mosquitoes and stuff, and
Gross.
it's just gross.
Well,
And it's really gross too because you can hear them. You go like the of them
yeah,
hitting your
that's the
windshield,
worst
and then
part.
you like, and you can't really see them until later. So you like know
Yeah.
what's happening, and you're like, and I can't do anything about it because I'm
And
just
I just have
driving.
to accept
I just have
it.
to accept that when I get back, I'm gonna be covered in bug guts, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Try to turn on
Yeah.
the wiper, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, and then it doesn't
Actually makes
really,
it
it
worse.
doesn't, yeah, exactly. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to just shove them all to one side. So I don't know. I just hope it rains, I guess, or go get a
Yeah.
car wash. But my other complaint is in Iowa. I don't think I've seen a gas station with an attached car wash. I don't know where those are because in Illinois I see them all the time, and
Do
that's
you
how we get
have
car
like
washes. So
do you have at least like the little squeegee?
yeah, oh yeah. There's that. So
Okay,
I'll
good.
do that, especially for bird
Yeah.
poop because that happens
Right.
too. But
Yeah.
just like gas stations will have like their little automated car wash thing,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I have not
Yeah.
seen any in Iowa, so I don't know where that is.
Maybe it's illegal. You
It's
can't
illegal.
wash your car in Iowa.
I guess so. Maybe I've seen. Well, I mean,
Oh,
it's
man.
Iowa, so country and rural. But I've seen a lot of cars that are just covered in like dirt, and mud, and
Oh, yeah.
dust all the time. What like middle of the city. So not that it's a big city. But.
Fair. Oh man. How about you, Ryan?
I don't know. I can't think of anything bad. Had a couple of
Fair.
good weeks, so
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
we love that. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The company I'm working for actually took us out to a steak dinner.
Oh,
Which I know
nice.
you guys
So
don't really like
nice.
steak, but
Yeah, it doesn't
was
sound
like,
super
But
appetizing, but
the thought is appreciated,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Of being
was a
like,
very nice
that's a
meal.
fancy thing.
and a lot of alcohol, so that was fun.
Love that. Yeah. Fair. I have a question for you then, if you had both steak and alcohol, because I do drink, but I don't eat steak. But I've been told by people, and then also it was mentioned on BuzzFeed Unsolved, and I thought that was funny, of like it's apparently really nice to be like a little drunk and eating steak, or like eating steak and then having alcohol. Like it's apparently like something with the way that it feels. And I don't
Mhm.
know if that's just meat eaters being like pretentious about food, or if like there is something different about like eating like steak and drinking than just eating regular food and drinking.
It's a little pretentious, but it really is
Sure.
good.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Oh man. Fair. Alrighty. Well,
thanks for
don't
listening.
complain about stupid things. Yeah.
Don't complain about stupid things when you can think it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We have a video version of this podcast if you want to see what we look like. We have an Instagram that we post to every now and again. We have a website.
Yeah, we're doing things.
We have other areas if you want to engage with us.
Yeah. Do that.
Send us a message if you want. But not dick pics. Don't do that.
Don't send us any dick pics. I will block it. But on our website there is like a contact us section. And go for it. Do it. Have fun with it.
Love to hear from you.
No dick pics.
No dick pics. I do think the majority
no
of
dick
our audience is women, so
It is. We are slowly getting like
and
percent by
unlikely.
percent more men, which I don't know how I feel about, but it's still way vastly majority female.
Just complain about men more, and they'll stop.
Stop it. Have a sunny Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.